What's up, YouTube? This is DEFCON 3 coming at you from somewhere here on Spaceship Earth. I just had somebody send me a question just a few minutes ago. And the question is, what is the first thing you do when you get your guard card? Like, how do you look for companies to work for? And I felt like I covered that in at least one of my videos. I did a video on knowing your worth, knowing your value, how much do guards get paid, but I didn't really get into how to find a company when you get your guard card. So, thank you for the question. I will answer that as best as I can. So here's the deal. Um, when you get your guard card, at least in my experience, the institution which you get your guard card from, generally they will try to hire you right there on the spot. If you are a clean cut person and you just seem like you have some common sense, they'll probably say, okay, well, here you go, man. Here's your certification. Hey, are you looking for work? And they'll hire you because this is one of those industries where they're always looking for new guards. There's a high turnaround when it comes to security guards. People leave for various reasons. Mainly it has to do with pay. People just feel like they don't get paid enough. Then they go to another place and then they get bored there and go somewhere else. If you get a good job, man, you're not likely to leave. I mean, if you're getting paid in the 20s, why would you leave? Those companies don't really have high turnaround. Therefore, as you're shopping around, you're not likely to find jobs in that $20 range because the people never retire. Just like firefighters, man, they'll stay as firefighters until they're in their late 50s just because it's such an ideal job. It's so fun. They don't leave. So don't get discouraged though. You are worth what you think you're worth. If I can go back in time 1 year, I would only apply for jobs at $20 an hour. If they tell me you don't have enough experience, I would bounce. I've got enough life experience, man. I don't have to, know how to fill out a daily activity log and how to sit in my vehicle. I mean, what kind of experience does that take? Anyways, having said that, I did recently look around for a new job because I thought that this current company I'm with wouldn't be able to work with my schedule. You never know until you ask. Well, I did ask them, and eventually we did work something out. But in the meantime, I was shopping around just in case they said no, we can't help you out. I'd say, okay, well, fine. Here's my resignation, and I would go to a new place. Now, I applied at 8 different places. Of those 8 places, 8 people responded, right? A couple of people were offering me 17, one offered 15, another couple offered me in the $20 range. So, how did I do that? Well, I just went online and I typed in security guards needed for hire, and that was it. Or I typed in, more specifically, I typed in armed guards needed. See, when I typed in security guards needed, I was like, why are they only paying this much? Oh, it's because they're not armed guards. Okay, let me be more specific. Looking for armed guard companies, right? So I did get a bunch of responses, and I ultimately went to Indeed.com, and Indeed, they were the best as far as looking for jobs. Like, they literally, you could type in the city you live in and then how far you're willing to travel and all those little basic requirements. And then it gives you the option to upload your resume right there on the spot. Now, as far as your resume, I was like, crap, I haven't made a resume for years. I do not feel like spending 2 hours building a resume. But ultimately, I said to myself, you know what? I need a resume. I mean, there's just no way around it. So then I went to a website, something like resumebuilder.com or something. There's a ton of them. I think they're all good. And it said free trial. And I'm like, why not, right? Otherwise, it's like $20 a month. I don't know why you would want to pay every month. Once you make your resume, you keep it forever, right? And then you just modify it as needed. Well, this resume builder, I kid you not, after I signed in my first name, last name, just the basic information, it literally took me 6 minutes to make an amazing resume with a cover letter. It literally filled out everything for me. It said, "Are you an armed guard?" You hit yes, and then it made this whole paragraph of like, armed security guard, capable of doing this, and that. I'm like, whoa, that sounds pretty cool. And then it says, "Are you active? Are you fit?" And I'm like, yeah. I clicked yes, and then he goes, physically this and that. I mean, they were using college level words that I am certain any HR person would drool over because it just sounded so great. And as I'm reading this resume, I'm like, wow, is that me? Whoa, okay. So get yourself a little resume, a free resume builder. And it's nothing really to download. You just go online and it starts asking you all these questions. You fill in the blanks and it just makes the resume for you. And then it had my name on the top of the resume and it looks so clean. And then it said like actively working, and then you can choose from different templates. So that really helps. So now I apply online, and after I apply online, I hit upload resume, and there you go. Man, the calls started coming in, the messages started coming in. A couple of them I didn't even answer because, yeah, it's not good to do that. But to be honest, I decided to stay with the current job that I'm with right now. And I just said, you know what, why waste their time? Even if they gave me a good deal, I'm pretty comfortable where I am right now. This is not a bad company. And I think I can do fine here. So there you go, man. You just get your guard card. Maybe the people that apply or gave you the course will hire you. But if they don't, and make sure the prices are competitive, right? Just because you're new, remember, just because you're new doesn't mean you should be paid on the bottom scale. It is an absolute hiring frenzy right now for security guards, given the current environment of the country and how they're defunding police and hiring security. Don't settle for nothing. If you don't catch my drift, go to my video called Know Your Worth. There's another video called Know Your Worth and Your Value. Look at those two videos and you'll see what I'm saying, okay? But yeah, so then just start looking around. You could try Craigslist if you guys have that in wherever you live at. You could try different social media areas, or just go on Google and type in security guards needed. You're going to find a ton of places, and then look for the bigger companies that are closer to you. Not to say that the smaller companies don't pay just as well, because I'm working for a small company, and guess what? They pay good. So, and I did find, oh my goodness, let me tell you guys a story. Man, I wish I could open up my text message right now or somehow screenshot and show you guys. A huge company, and I'm going to throw them under the bridge. Their name is Garda, right? I see them everywhere. The HR guy messaged me and says, "Hi, are you looking for a job in security?" And I sent them a resume and everything, right? And I said, yes. And then they messaged back, "What shift are you looking for?" And I wrote, "Well, it depends on the pay." And the guy goes, "Sorry, I don't want to waste any more of your time. Thank you." And I'm like, and I wrote back to him and I messaged back, "What do you mean waste my time? Isn't it a common thing to ask what the pay is?" And he said, "Yes, I just don't want to waste your time. Thank you." And I'm like, well, and then I got a little bit pissed off and I wrote, "Well, you actually did waste my time." So having said that, anyway, then I said a couple choice words. But yeah, they did waste my time. Like, why ask me, am I looking for a job? And I'm like, yeah, how much does it pay? And then they're like, yeah, we don't want to talk about that right now. Like, how is that something you don't want to talk about? That's so important. Like, the location, the pay, and the hours. Those are like the three basic things you want to know when you get a job somewhere. And if they can't tell you what you're going to make, then whatever, dude. I don't care how big of a company you are. You're destined for failure if you want to talk to people like that. And this isn't some small rinky-dink company. That was a huge company with an HR manager who contacted me, right? So maybe one of these days I'll screenshot the conversation. But that's really how it went. I mean, per verbatim, that's pretty much how the conversation went. But yeah, man, just go online, look for jobs on there, and Craigslist. Maybe even call up some of the bigger companies. I know a few people are working for it. God, I always get this mixed up. I think it's called G2C or something like that. G2. something rather. Man, they always pay in the 20s, at least for every guard that I know of. Every guard that's ever bounced from any company I've worked for, they're all like, "Oh, I'm gonna go work for G2C," and I'm like, "Oh, good for you, man." And yeah, so that's that. If that sounds familiar, that's one of the companies that's in your area, and they might be because they're one of the biggest companies in the world. Then go with them. So there you go, guys. I hope that answered your question. Get your card, go online, and Craigslist, Indeed.com, job search. Make sure you have your resume squared away. So then, when it does ask you, your first last name, then it'll say upload your resume here. You don't want to leave that blank because I'll say probably 95% of people applying leave it blank. You're going to be in that top 10%. Once you upload that resume, you're going to look that much better, and it's going to increase your worth that much more. So certainly take that time, make yourself a 10-minute resume, and have that on deck. I will say that one of the security companies was really cool. When I applied, it says, "Congratulations, we've considered you. Click on this link." I clicked on a link and it gave me like a 10-minute test. So it was like, on this picture, click on what you think doesn't fit in. So there was a little girl sitting by herself. There's a guy with a cane. There's a dude with a hood over his head. There's an empty briefcase just sitting by itself in the corner. So I clicked on the briefcase because that seems sort of out of place, right? And then it said, okay. And then I'm like, what else? The little girl sitting by herself, that might be cause for concern too. So I clicked on that. Now, if I had clicked on the guy with the hoodie on his head, even though they made him look suspicious, like he was literally hooded up and was just kind of walking, the truth is, dude, it could just be some teenager walking. So why go for that person? You could set yourself up for a lawsuit for just profiling somebody with a hoodie. So they wanted to see if I would click on that just to see how logical I am. But anyways, it had all these questions like that. Like you basically just click on the picture of what you thought was wrong. Then it would ask you questions like, if somebody was arguing, how would you respond to this? Or how do you respond to that? And you'd have to give your answers. Do you get angry easily? Click A for yes, B for no. But there you go, guys. So just a little insight. Hey, know your worth. Know your value. And above all, be safe.